Welcome everybody. This is just a overview of things that you need to know for the start of school at Duval Charter School at Southside. This is intended for returning families, but I know some of the new families were going to watch it for a refresher from last night's Zoom call, or if they missed that. So we are going to just go through some information. I'm recording it live, so please excuse any snafus. So I'm Amanda Sauer, your principal, and again, we're going to be talking about what do you need to know to be ready for day one. So this is kind of orientation to get school started. So first I'm going to talk about uniforms. School uniforms need to be purchased at RC Uniform Wear on Beach Boulevard. We'll also have a used uniform sale going on at Meet the Teacher. In fact, it will be BOGO, buy one, get one on the tops and bottoms, just not on the jackets. Students in grade 5 have red polos. And again, the bottoms are khaki or navy, standard bottoms. They don't have to be from the uniform store, but they shouldn't be baggy cargo pockets. They should just be standard bottoms. They can be shorts, slacks, or skirts. It does say that they're supposed to wear a belt, but that doesn't have to be a deal breaker. It's just we're not going to have saggy pants. Same thing with our policy does say solid colored socks, but I don't have a problem with students expressing themselves through some fun socks. They are to wear closed toe and heeled shoes, no slides, no Crocs. Spirit shirts may only be worn on Fridays. We'll be having a sale for the new Spirit shirts. You can order those at the Meet the Teacher, and then we'll also order them quarterly. Also, please no headbands with unicorns or ears or things that are sticking up. That is distracting. So moving on to our middle school uniform policy, it's pretty much the same except the tops are navy blue or white. And then all the rest applies. They do not have to dress out or change for PE, but in the warmer weather, sometimes they get all sweaty and they would just prefer to change into the PE clothes. It should be the PE uniform that can be purchased at RC Uniforms. It is a specific shirt and shorts, and they can change in the restroom if they feel that that's something that they need. They can wear any jacket into the building, but then when they get to class, they need to take the jacket off. This is for K-8. The only outerwear that they can wear in the classroom is actually the Southside Navy uniform sweater or sweatshirt. No hoodies are allowed inside the building. Sorry for the email dings coming through. Jeans Day, we do have Jeans Days on Friday. There's no holes in the jeans, and you can purchase a pass, which puts your name on the list, either quarterly for the semester or for the year through My School Bucks. Arrivals. Now your kids are dressed. Let's talk about getting them to school. Please remember you will need patience the first few days of school as we train new people in our traffic pattern. You do need a buffer of time because arrival does take maybe 10 to 20 minutes longer for the first 3 to 4 days, and then it usually improves significantly. Arrival is from 7:30 till 8 o'clock. Class begins at 8. So if you're just pulling into the parking lot at 8, your child is going to be tardy. Class starts at 8. Also, please remember that you must accompany your children into the front office and sign in to get a tardy slip. Elementary students may not sign themselves in late. Middle school students may. So please don't just drop and run. We're going to be putting up some new gate systems that they're using at other schools. You will need to park and walk in. We're not going to have you just dropping at the front door. That's a safety hazard. Also, please don't drop your students off early. They are not supervised. We do have before care if that is needed. So the earliest they can arrive is 7:30 if they are not enrolled in before care. We're going to talk about the arrival traffic pattern. It has not changed. So K1, you come in the front on AC Skinner. You're going to wind through the cones on the parking lot, come past the front door and drop off at the side entrance. Please do not park and then walk your child up to the door. That does not work for safety either. We need you to remain in your car. We will meet you at your car and help get your little ones to class. We know they might not remember where their class is, so we have people to assist and help with that. Grades 2 through 8, you're going to turn right when you come in and you're going to head around the field. It will eventually split into just lanes 1 and 4. They don't get out of their car until they're in the coned section, and they come up to the crosswalk at the middle or the crosswalk at the front, and we will assist with crossing traffic. Please make sure you're paying attention and looking out for children. We also have walkers that are coming in the front headed to the school. We do pay for JSO to run traffic out at the road, but they are in charge of that. We don't manage them or tell them what to do. So sometimes people don't like the way in which they're directing traffic. Please know that they are in full authority out there to manage what they believe is best for the traffic pattern. So that's arrival. Make sure you're arriving by 7:55. After the first few days of school, there's really usually nobody in the car line at that time, and we're just waiting as people pull up. Please remember, they should not be getting out of the car until the staff is on duty, which starts at 7:30. In the beginning, we may start unloading cars at like 7:25 just to try to move that process along, but really it's a 30-minute window, and 7:30 is the earliest. Also, please remember to be patient. Don't drive around the cones, and please make sure that you are not on your cell phone in the car lanes. We need you paying attention for a child that maybe forgets the rules and darts between cars or does not use the crosswalk. Let's talk a little bit about before and after care. That registration, those forms are now posted. My School Bucks will be ready for you over the weekend or at the latest on Monday, but you can begin reading the handbook and filling out those forms from our website. The director has changed. Our new director is Miss Amber Brown. Before care begins at 6:30 a.m., you would take your child around back and drop at the cafeteria. You will walk them in and sign them off. It is not a drop-off location. You will actually walk them in and sign them in. Aftercare is available until 6 p.m. Please do not pick your child up from aftercare until 3:40, or it interferes with pickup in the afternoon, and we're waiting for kids to come down from their aftercare rooms. So please do not come if they're in aftercare till 3:40. Payments are made on a monthly basis. We no longer accept checks or cash. You must use My School Bucks, and the fee schedules are actually already posted. Fees have increased. I don't think they had increased in 3 years. They have increased just as the cost of employing our employees has increased, and we need to make sure we have enough staff to supervise your children. Medical concerns. If your child has allergies, please make sure you notify your child's teacher so we can take appropriate precautions. All medication must be delivered by the parent to the front office. The child can't carry it in through the car line, so please park, come into the front office, and it must include the form from the doctor's office. Often they will fax that to us, but we cannot administer any medication without a doctor's approved orders, and last year's orders do not work. They must be current orders. Students may use and carry sunscreen. We would prefer that that is not sprays, because they can accidentally spray another child in the eyes, or the wind could blow it as they spray. But students have to put sunscreen on themselves. Please remember that vomiting and fever, your child needs to stay home. In the past, it's been fever-free or not vomiting and fever-free without medication for 24 hours. During the pandemic, it has been 72 hours. So we'll be looking at the updated guidelines and see where we'll be going with that. But essentially, don't send your child to school unless they're feeling well. The cafeteria will still be using SLA, and the app for the menu is called NutriSlice. The USDA has approved free lunch and free breakfast for all children for this entire school year. If you normally apply for free and reduced lunch, when those forms online become available, we encourage you to still do so because there may be other benefits through EBT that you receive, and the status determined would also be good for the first 10 days of the next school year. Again, all payments for the cafeteria should go through My School Bucks. Really try to avoid sending them in with snack money or lunch money in cash. We can't be responsible for that. Please, we would prefer that you use My School Bucks. And if your child forgets their lunch and you would like to drop off a cold school lunch in a lunchbox, we will accept that. We do not accept Uber Eats, Chick-fil-A, delivery, any kind of food. There's temperature issues also with 1,145 students. It's difficult to make sure we get the right lunch to the right child and in the right time frame. So we do not accept deliveries of any kind, flowers, balloons, lunches, you dropping off fast food. They can get free hot lunch through the cafeteria. So please either send cold lunch or have them get the hot lunch. So now that they've been fed, let's talk about dismissal. We'll be using the School Pass app again. You'll get your card tag at Meet the Teacher, or if you don't attend Meet the Teacher, we'll send it home with your child. They are getting new numbers as they had a new upload with PowerSchool. They say they've corrected the issues we were having with some of the siblings being issued different numbers. So School Pass will be active again. We really need to use it better and utilize it better for if you're carpooling or you're picking up a different child. All that can be enabled through the app. And you can set, how they're going home for the day, and any changes need to be done through the School Pass app. Also, if we have walkers, there's a walker permission form that you'll be filling out online. They need to live within a certain radius. They're not to be walking down the sidewalk because you want to avoid the car line, and then you pick them up there. Walkers have to be pre-approved in a certain area. And we do permit daycares. If we have any daycares or L&R transportation, they also pick up at our school. But we do not have any school buses. Please remember that if transportation is an issue, you will need to find a school with transportation. Again, you must have a car tag, otherwise you'll have to park and we'll have to check ID and call up on the radios to the front to check PowerSchool. So we need to make sure that you are using School Pass and have the correct tag. 3 o'clock is dismissal for K-5. Families with multiple children in elementary will connect with the youngest siblings. If you don't have any middle schoolers, they all go with the youngest child. So K1 on the side, 2 through 8 on the back. Early release days have come back onto the calendar. And for elementary, that is at 12:45. Middle school dismisses at 3:15. If you have a middle schooler in your carpool or in your household, we will keep your elementary children in class with their teacher until 3:15, and then we'll dismiss it all together. So if you have multiple children, they're all going to connect with the middle school sibling. Primary pattern stays the same as last year, 2nd through 8th around the back. Early release days for middle school is 1 o'clock. If you're picking up your child early, please remember they're missing instruction when you're picking them up early. And then also it's disruptive to the other children as we have to call into the classroom to get your child. So please try to limit those to necessary dentist and doctor's appointments. We do not release students within 30 minutes of dismissal. So start after 2:30, or you need to just get into the car line, please. Please remember you have to have the card tag, and if you're picking up additional children, you need to coordinate that through the School Pass app, and essentially you join the carpool for the day rather than have multiple tags. Just to go over the pattern real quick, remember in the afternoon, if the youngest is in kindergarten and you only have elementary school kids, you're going to be pulling past the front door here on the yellow pattern and picking up the side, and you exit back on AC Skinner. For about the first 2 weeks of school, JSO also sends out a traffic officer for the afternoon just to make sure everything's flowing correctly on AC Skinner. That is not something that's usually continued after the first 2 weeks of school. That's more a courtesy to make sure for safety and flow of traffic. Moving on to the next grade level band is if you only have elementary school students in grades 2 through 5, you're going to be in lanes 1 and 2 closest to the field, and you're going to line up in those lines. These will begin loading at 3 o'clock as the students come down to the cafeteria when they're called. If your child is slow and pokey, you may have to be pulled forward so we can load additional cars. Please stay in your lane, stay in your car, off your phone, and have your number displayed. Again, that's if elementary grades 2 through 5, you don't have any K1 and you don't have any middle school, then you're going to stay in these 2 lanes. Please remember you'll be exiting it out onto AC Skinner. Please do not complete any U-turns out there on AC Skinner. You will get ticketed as well. Okay, if you have any middle schoolers in your carpool, you're always, always, always going to pick up in lanes 3 and 4, the outer 2 lanes around the field. These lanes, the kids stay in class till 3:15. So these lanes don't start moving till about 3:20. They have to come down, connect with their siblings. We then have to load them into the cars. So if you don't have any middle schoolers and you got stuck in these 2 lanes, then you're going to have to stay there until we load through the middle school dismissal time. So if you don't have any middle schoolers, you want to avoid lane 3 and 4. If you have middle schoolers, you need to be in lane 3 and 4. There's no changes from last year. This is aftercare pickup. So you can understand why we don't want you coming until 3:40 if you have an aftercare student, because this is also for lanes grades 2 through 5 in this lane. But when it's time to pick up from aftercare, starting at 3:40 or all the way till 6 o'clock, you're going to pick up in this inner lane by the field and school. The blue box at the far here is where you'll meet athletes, clubs, other activities. They're not going to get in the aftercare lane and clog that up. So if you have flag football or volleyball players here in the fall, or girls who code, or one of our clubs after school, Hoop Dreams, Happy Feet, you're going to pick up in one of the far lanes, and the adults will walk them across the crosswalk. Let me talk real quick about some of our electronic systems. PowerSchool is essential for your communication. Teachers should be updating grades weekly. At least by the 2nd week of school, you'll start seeing things in there. It's where you can view attendance, schedules, report cards, practice grades, mastery grades, all kinds of communication happen through PowerSchool. If you're a returning student, we're not going to be printing your PowerSchool login information. Unless you don't have that, then you could get in a line at the front counter to get that at Meet the Teacher. New families will have those printed and ready for them. Volunteer hours. So far with the pandemic, we're starting to allow volunteers back in the building. We're not going to be too aggressive with it. At this time, we're not going to have any visitors into the cafeteria. That's a large volume area. So just to keep exposure down, we'll have limited, volunteering to get started, but you need to do 20 volunteer hours for 1 child, 30 volunteer hours for 2 or more. The last 2 years with the pandemic, we haven't really done much with this, and it's time to get back to it. You log your hours in PowerSchool. That does not work well on the app or mobile device. It needs to be through a computer. Parent-teacher council, you'll be getting more information about PTC meetings. We're going to kind of keep the format we did during the pandemic and stay around lunchtime through Zoom. So hopefully you can join us maybe from work or on a break. We had much higher attendance and involvement that way. So we're going to keep going with that. You'll hear more about fundraisers throughout the year. And we hope you get involved with the PTC. A little bit more about this school year. Really, we're looking, I know there's been a recent spike, but we're looking really to get back to what we would call normal or a new normal. So we're going to keep increasing our focus on the science and the arts. We've added additional course offerings, enrichment clubs and opportunities, getting those back and going. We're adding Hoop Dreams for basketball. We'll also be adding some chess programming. Are continuing with our athletic teams for middle school. We have a girls basketball coach. We'll continue to increase our safety precautions. We are cashless. And then we are adding more turf to the field, giving us more room to play without having to deal with dirt and mud on the field. But stay tuned as school gets rolling out. We'll have more information about great things happening this school year. But right now we're just going to focus on getting school started. A few questions have come up about the safety precautions with COVID and the pandemic. Things were improving, and then there seems to be a recent spike. So we're going to talk about our pandemic in a minute, but let me just focus on the safety precautions. We're still going to have our safety drills, which have been increased in the last few years. Adults should always be leading the way, checking the areas before students get to them. Please remember CSUSA is reminding us that we should be using the buzzer bell out at the sidewalk to have a verbal conversation with you to find out why is somebody here before you even enter the lobby. So please be prepared to not just be automatically buzzed in, that we're supposed to be asking who you are and why you're there. All adults must show picture ID. A card tag is not a picture ID. They could have stolen that from somebody's vehicle. All adults must show a picture ID. If you have an adult who does not have a picture ID, please have them go to the tax collector's office and get a Florida state ID. Passports work if they have pictures in them, but otherwise, sometimes we have foreign visitors and they don't have a picture ID. They need to obtain one. Also, we'll be continuing to scan driver's license to come into the building with the Raptor system. And then we also still have our safety app where we can lock down the building at a touch of a button. And we continue to improve our safety. Please remember, please no phone calls to add someone to emergency pickup. We can't verify who you are. You need to sign in through School Pass or Power School to add people. Sometimes parents or people get frustrated with some of our safety precautions, but I want to remind you that we're focused on safety. It is a priority. Safety first for all children. We would rather err on the side of caution than have something happen. First day of school, we are not walking children to class. We're going to meet them at the cars and assist them. It worked very well last year, really, to have, for example, for kindergarten, 125 parents walking the hall that we don't know. We don't know if they've been cleared. It's a safety issue. So we will assist your child. Please remain in your car, drop your child. You won't be walking them to class, but I assure you they will be fine. If you don't attend the meet and greet and you're wondering, well, how will your child know the teacher if you don't walk them in? You can do that on Monday in the lobby, or you could also call kindergarten and first grade. We really suggest you, attach a tag or something to their backpack that says who their teacher is. That just helps us get to the right location. The first day of school is August 10th. So information about the pandemic, as I was saying, currently masks are optional for students, but strongly encouraged. We're following the CDC updates and monitoring the situation. We usually will follow what Duval County Public Schools decides, but we are currently monitoring the situation. Right now, for staff and visitors, masks are not required if you are fully vaccinated. We're still limiting some classroom and cafeteria volunteering for visitors until rates improve. All students are expected back on campus for learning. The emergency order from the Florida Department of Ed and the governor has expired, which means traditional schools are not permitted to offer virtual education. So there's virtual schools such as Florida Virtual and Duval Virtual. But things that were put in place for the pandemic, like Duval Homeroom and our OWL camera live streaming of classrooms, that is not currently permitted by the state of Florida. Therefore, all students are expected back on campus for learning August 10th. We are equipped and prepared to provide mobile learning if that changes. Or if there is a need for a move to mobile due to illness, and it's been approved. But currently all students at Southside are expected to be back on campus August 10th. We are continuing to use our Clorox 360 air ionization system and frequent cleaning. We will do our best with CDC guidelines where feasible within the building. Just one or two more things. Our first day packet, it moved to online last year. And this year, all of CSUSA is going to online. It's going to be through eCollect, which will be via PowerSchool. So essentially starting on Monday, you'll receive communication to go in and do your first day packet. So instead of sitting there and meet the teacher and filling out a ton of forms, everything can be done from the comfort of your home or office. Please make sure you update the emergency contact information. This was the old yellow card. We'll actually be printing this for our emergency binders in case of evacuation, but we'll also be using it with PowerSchool to make sure we have the most up-to-date emergency contact information for you. Also, it will contain your media picture release, your technology acceptable use policy. There'll be a few forms in there. Please complete your first day packet prior to meet the teacher. So this will go live through PowerSchool on Monday, August 2nd. A few comments about My School Bucks. They were having some issues with new accounts and getting those set up, and the fees also haven't rolled over for this school year. So starting on Monday, they're assuring us everything will be all set. If you're having any issues creating your account with My School Bucks, it's usually because you've chosen Duval County Public and not Renaissance Charter Schools. So if it's not recognizing your student number, it's probably because you need to go back out and start over using Renaissance Charter Schools in the drop-down menu. Again, all payments should be made through My School Bucks. And again, they're saying the issue should be resolved by Monday. So next step is Meet the Teacher, August 5th. This is where you'll find out who your child's teacher is. For middle school, you'll get your teacher schedule. You can drop off supplies. The supply lists have been on our website for quite a few weeks. We've sent that information out through the weekly newsletter. We'll also have a used uniform sale. You'll be able to get card tags, sign your child up if they're a walker, answer any questions about before or after care, or complete that registration. It's an online registration. You can also purchase all of your passes and yearbooks through My School Bucks. So that'll be starting next week. And there will be a few vendors for enrichment activities like Happy Feet and Play Ball, Hoop Dreams. Some of our outside vendors that come for enrichment programming will be present. So as we wrap up, just a reminder that Meet the Teacher has specific time frames. It's drop in during that time. If you can't make the time for your grade level and you attended a different time, that's fine, but your child's teacher won't be available. So the teachers have training next week. And so this is when the particular bands of teachers will be available. So please try to stay within those timeframes, and the building will be closed completely from 12:30 to 1:30 for lunch for the staff. But otherwise, here's the timeframes for Meet the Teacher. If you cannot make this date work, you could also drop off supplies or get card tags in the lobby on Friday. Yes, on Friday, and then also on Monday, because school will start the following Tuesday. Hopefully that was a quick recap for you of everything you need to know to get started with school. We also are available to answer your questions via phone between 8 and 3, and then also at Meet the Teacher on August 5th. I'm proud to be your child's principal, and we're excited to have a wonderful year here at Southside. We hope you have a great evening. As we said, almost everything will go live starting Monday. Next week is your week to get prepared for back to school. So filling out packets and Meet the Teacher, and we'll see you soon. Have a great evening.